You've never faced bending like mine. What are you?
I am the solution.
Yeah, ain't no way Aang can handle all that. Now wait, hear me out. Please save your angry comments till the end of the class. I'll convince you in just a second. By the way, this video is just for fun. I know these debates tend to get pretty tense, so yeah, don't take this too seriously. Now, I've seen a variety of Aang vs Korra debates in my day, both on the internet and in real life, and I don't know what people have against Korra. I always hear people say that the 12-year-old Aang in The Last Airbender is stronger than Korra, and I don't think, well, technically, he was 112 years old because he was frozen for— shut your ass up, bruh. Anyway, I believe she's objectively stronger than Aang was back then, simply because that's just how the avatar cycle works. Each avatar inherits all the knowledge and skill from all the past avatars, so by that definition, she has everything Aang has.
Yeah, even though she lost those connections in season 2, I still think she's stronger because
the villains she was able to conquer would walk all over Aang and his crew. So now, my argument basically is, if you take Aang as we saw him in The Last Airbender and airdropped him into the beginning of Legend of Korra, he ain't surviving 2 days, bro. He gonna be out before NFL Sunday. And I say this because in Korra's time, the world is just much more competitive and powerful than it was back in Aang's day. Everyone is so advanced here, things that would seem impossible in Aang's time are just normalized now. Everybody is stronger at bending, all the secrets and special skills are now mainstream. Things like lightning, lava and metal bending, etc. that were very special and only a few could do, can now be done by your average bender. Now Aang is powerful, no doubt, but the skill gap between him and the majority of the benders that he had to face was massive. He was fighting against plumbers and electricians half the time. The only time he faced some real competition was against Azula and Ozai, and he couldn't even beat Azula. She literally kills him while in the avatar state, by the way. But of course the plot armor had to kick in and he got brought back. You know, this is kinda like what they say against Michael Jordan against LeBron, how Jordan faced less competition in his time, players weren't as skilled, and in today's game the average player is much better and he wouldn't perform as well. Korra on the other hand faced and defeated threats far more dangerous than what Aang ever had to come up against. I mean, for crying out loud, she had to face Amon is the most terrifying character in the entire Avatar universe. The way he would strip people of their bending was always scary to watch. It's like he's taking their soul away. And I thought Azula was scary. We already saw Aang and his crew against the Bloodbender and he was pretty much helpless. And God knows what would have happened to him if he didn't have Katara to bail him out. Now this woman's like 1,000 years old and she was tossing Aang around like a ping pong ball. Now imagine him against Amon that's like 10 times more powerful. You put Aang against him, ain't no way he's keeping up. He gonna be standing there like,
don't do it to me. I beg you. No.
Where are you going?
And then Amon just takes his bending away with no diff. Bro, even Amon's henchmen are built different. Normally, the villain's goons are just free licks, easy pickings to the main characters, just an opportunity to stat pad, but nah, not here. You got Amon's henchmen soloing the main characters like it's nothing, not to mention they're all capable of chi blocking, and they got those electric gloves and batons too. Bro, in Aang's day, Ty Lee was the only chi blocker that they ever met, and they could never even beat her. Now it's 70 years later, the skill has been heavily improved upon, Amon's henchmen are definitely better at it than she was at the time. So now tell me what Aang's gonna do in that world with an army of those chi blockers that all want his ass gone. Nothing. I don't think he can keep up. Korra on the other hand faced Amon and she wiped the floor with him. Even though Amon took her bending, she still managed to unlock airbending on the spot, knocking his face off. And then she managed to do what nobody in Aang's time could do, which is breaking free of bloodbending. That shit was so impressive, man. Aang couldn't even do that. And as if Amon wasn't enough of a challenge, she still went up against Man, the Red Lotus was so powerful. They stood 10 toes in the middle of the Beifong estate, surrounded by dozens of Metal Clan soldiers, both of Toph's daughters, Mako, Bolin, shit, everybody pulled up to stop them. But they still walked out intact, no scratches, and every member is just a master of their craft. You got Mingwa, who's literally disabled by the way. No arms, but she still folded motherfuckers like laundry. You got Pili? Anyway, you got Pili, the best combustion bender ever, or at least that we know of. She could literally bend her combustion beams around obstacles. And this is what I mean when I say everybody in this time is just more advanced than in Aang's time. The combustion man and Aang face couldn't do that, and yet he single-handedly terrorized Aang and his crew for multiple episodes before they could finally defeat him. But in Korra, they killed Pili with less difficulty. And Then you got Zahir. This dude went from being a non-bender to an airbender, and in 2 weeks already ranks as one of the best airbenders ever. He immediately mastered how to fly the glider with no training. He even learned how to fly. In the past 4,000 years, not a single airbender could do it. And he did all this in, I repeat again, 2 weeks. When he started flying, dog, I was like, oh, nah, it is so over. Y'all are about to get so fried. I know Aang would have been shell-shocked, straight bamboozled if he saw an airbender flying. You know he gonna ask Zahir to put him on too.
You been had money, bro. You had money like this in middle school,
What the hell?
It's crazy. Bro, anything y'all need, bro, God, I'll kill somebody behind y'all, bro. I'll be y'all personal shooter.
The Red Lotus kinda reminds me of Azula and her crew, a group by the way, which Aang and his crew could never defeat. I mean, Katara and Zuko did defeat Azula, but this was after Mai and Ty Lee had already left her. Now the Red Lotus is leaps and bounds stronger than them, yet Korra still won. I'm telling you man, Aang didn't face a fraction of the challenges Korra had to go through. When she was done with the Red Lotus, she was still damaged by the poison Zahir gave her. And before she could even recover from all that, before she could even take 2 seconds to relax, she had to face
Push up.
the Great Uniter, and my favorite character in the Legend of Korra. Arguably top 3 earthbenders of all time, I ain't hearing otherwise. She displayed the best metal bending that we ever saw. She's so creative with it, god damn, especially with those metal tags. The way she would place it on people and use it to control them. She's such a highly skilled fighter too, way more than Aang or anybody for that matter. And she's very agile.
Yo, get off that nigga dick, bro, what is you doing?
My bad, sorry. But you get the point. I think she'll be too much for Aang to handle. Aang faced people not even as skilled as her and still lost. And don't forget, she's got this giant mecha suit. This tech is more advanced than anything 12-year-old Aang has ever seen. He wouldn't even understand what he was seeing. It would be like showing an iPhone to someone in the 1800s. No way you're telling me that this guy could take on her? Be for real. She would do him worse than she did Korra in that first fight. Now obviously, Aang grew up to be much more powerful than the Korra we saw, but we barely ever saw that adult version, so I only compared the kid versions of both Aang and Korra. Now I'm sure a lot of you probably disagree with me at this point, and you can finally unleash your wrath in the comments. I'm gonna be posted up there. Thank y'all for watching as always. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed. I'm out of here.